To follow, right, Donna? So our speaker this morning, our guest is Donna Story, and I'm going to have Donna talk about her story in real estate and the success of her team and give some advice on that. So Donna, would you come up and let everybody kind of welcome Donna?
When I get my picture taken, do I always change my hair? Just actually right after, so that wasn't that long ago.
It's a good picture. It's a good picture. So Donna, kind of tell us how you got started, what you did before real estate.
Actually, I worked for the state of Texas in agriculture. It was a great job. One day I was over all the marketing for the general revenue for the prison system, actually. So one day I may be in the middle of a beef cattle lot loading semi-trailers of cattle, and the next day I would be on Channel 13 News in Houston and working on food banks projects. So has anybody ever worked for the state of Texas? Okay. In the state of Texas, you have a little job description, and it says other duties as assigned. That's what Donna Story got. I worked a lot with the Board of Criminal Justice, and we developed programs throughout the state, mostly to help food bank organizations and also Habitat for Humanity.
So that sounds like a really interesting transition. How do you transition from that into deciding you want a career in real estate?
Well, what I did was I worked all over the state helping needy people, helping use offender labor, helping to grow vegetables. But I gave that to other people. I wanted to put something into my job that if I put that much effort into it, I would get a reward out of it, which we did. And that's, I developed my one thing, which the book wasn't out one thing, but it was why I wanted to do it. And that's what we did.
Interesting. So how long have you been selling real estate?
16 years. Actually, in 2007, though, some of y'all know, some of the faces I recognize, we did retire. We lost a girl that had lived with us, that worked with Keller, worked in this office for a while. And it sort of kind of set me back because we were at a level that, you ever feel like you can't get to that next level? You know, and we just realized that life was short. And we took a couple of years, and the best years of my life. My aunt got pancreatic cancer, and my sister got breast cancer. So after that, you feel like, what do I do? And I went back and said, I've got to get back. I remember calling Ruth and saying, and I never left Ruth, let me say. My license stayed here. I continued to do things, but just sort of kind of took it back to the levels.
Okay. So, well, you currently have a team. So when did it become a team? I mean, I know Dale, your husband, is with you in business. So did you got your license first?
I did get my license first. My husband retired at 49 and a half years old. So at 50 years old, he went to college at Sam Houston playing basketball. And he knew he couldn't retire, and I knew I couldn't let him retire. So he turned around and got his license at the same time I did. But he did not retire for another year. So, or within the year. But he started doing it with me at that time. We were with Elkins Lake Real Estate. I'm sure a lot of y'all may remember that then. And when Ruth contacted us and we sat down and talked about putting the business center in Huntsville, that's when we really formed the Story team.
Okay. Okay. And so what does your team look like today?
Today we have my better half, which is my best half. Dale and I are the two main brokers. We have a showing assistant that we just started. We started the models back, and we've had buyer's agents, and as we know, real estate's gotten a little bit more complicated, hasn't it? Especially if you're new in the business. So we have a showing agent in hopes that she'll make it to a buyer's agent. But number one, we recently have a full-time team manager, executive assistant, and then we have a part-time listing coordinator and marketing coordinator. Plus Amber's worked for me for 4 years, and Kelly has worked with me for 6 years, has turned around, and they both were sort of kind of part-time mothers, part-time thing. So both of them, Kelly's in Rosenberg and worked, virtual. And she's gone back into the business full-time because she's gotten her kiddos big enough, so. And Amber still helps me on weekends and still is a main part of our team, but she's taken a full-time academic job.
So talk to me about what your sales volume was. What was your volume like last year and where are you this year?
Well, Huntsville's a little different than y'all's volume because y'all have a lot bigger properties.
Yeah.
Our volume was probably 15 million maybe, or maybe 10 maybe, because we scaled back last year and this year to do a lot more training to build it forward, because we don't want to get to that level and just crash from probably worn out, burnout. So, and we are on target this year. Next year, we just had our team strategic planning and planning for next year. And my 2 executive administrators are a lot more goal-oriented than I am, number-wise. And I looked at them and went, whoa. But I guarantee you, Stacy Law, our team executive assistant, she will make that happen. If she has to shut my door and get me on there. She said, you went out last week and you came back with 5 listings, you know, 1 luncheon. You know, and that's where I think we have a little bit of struggle. Do y'all not have struggle with time management? It's a hard thing, family and God, family, and then work, so.
Well, I want to kind of key in a little bit on a comment you just made about education. So you said you scaled back to educate to grow. Can you kind of talk about that?
Absolutely. When I went into business, when we went with Keller Williams, that belief system right there is exactly what our business is based on. If it's not a win-win, if it's not the integrity, if we don't make our success through people, we don't make it. I had a little bit of a hard time with some of our team members, which I know you can relate, because we always have some time, you know, we all don't see eye to eye on teams. I know Jennifer feels that somewhat too, but if we go back and we keep that in belief and we teach the models, we will do good. So we've now taken our team completely back to Gary Keller's Red Book, to the models, standing behind the belief system. We watch a lot of KW Connect. We watch a lot of YouTubes, you know, of different presentations. We do win for buyers, win for sellers, but mainly we take it back to understanding the culture. And the models are there for y'all. I mean, all we gotta do, it's given to us. We just have to follow it. Plus, we went to shift. Tony DiCello, I try to see Tony DiCello any chance I can ever get about what our market's doing. We stay really abreast of what our market is going to. We have a lot of land. We have a lot more rural property too. So we do any kind of training. All you gotta do is get a hot bathtub full of bubbles, put your TV right here, and have it stand, because that's what I do every night.
So what would you say has been your biggest source of business, your biggest source of leads over the years?
Referrals in my database, definitely.
Always referral. Usually it's referrals. What kind of systems do you have in place for lead follow-up?
We use Top Producer because I'm old school. You know, Top Producer still, it's getting convoluted, it's getting a little more complicated, it's getting a little harder if you get one person to enter one way or the other, but we use it in pretty much 5 straight. Years ago, Pat Mead was our transaction coordinator, and she got us on spreadsheets. You know, they called me spreadsheet queen for a long time. I'm old school again, older than what you think, but it's still hard sometimes with the technology. So now we even take the leads that are coming in and put them on a spreadsheet because our new buyer's agent is not really good with that technology either. And so we do that way. And we've got 5 Street as part of Top Producer now, so.
So, I'm gonna throw a question I didn't, kind of
follow up.
Yeah. So, so you say a lot of your business comes from referrals. How do you get that referral business? Is it networking? Is it in touch with your database? Or how does that really come? What's the reality of that?
You have to, as an agent, you cannot sit in your office and produce leads. If you're sitting in your office, you're not doing your job. Sorry. If you go to Office Depot and you buy paper, it's the best way to do. The way I got my leads over time, and I can be honest, 16 years ago, I have lived in Huntsville since 1984. Dale got there in the 70s. And we know a lot of people, okay? But when I went into real estate, I said, Huntsville is cliquish, okay? Do y'all not have the same issues down here? Dale said, join the clique. You can do whatever you set your mind to. And ask Ruth, I am not that big of an extrovert person. I am probably introverted in an extroverted body. But no, I was chairman of the Chamber of Commerce in 2006 and the Visitor Center. I was at every event. I've hosted all that. I've hosted the galas before. Am I nervous? Am I nervous to be up here? Absolutely. But you get out, you meet people, you say hello, you ask for business, which I've never been good at, okay? I've never been good at. It's the change of the real estate world where we're going to be getting leads and things. I'm having people go online and send me a lead that I know, okay, instead of them picking up the phone. But guess what? They're going through lead sources to even contact me. So we're seeing a shift and a change of how real estate does. But get out in your community, make sure you're known. I always, because it was Huntsville, and y'all always heard Huntsville is different. You go further north, Madisonville's different than Huntsville, okay? And you go to Grimes County, they're different than Huntsville. But Huntsville's come a long way, guys. I mean, we went through a lot of pain, didn't we, Ruth? At many times of sharing with y'all. We don't care. We want to share. Now, I can't believe a realtor from Katy, Texas is going to come all the way to Huntsville, but they're doing it every day. And y'all probably are seeing it as well. And it's sort of kind of hurting us a little bit, but when our territory gets too small too, you'll see us expand ours, so.
Exactly. So what do you think in today, what do you think are the biggest challenges that you have today? And maybe even looking at to this next year, because you've just done your planning, what do you think are the biggest challenges that we as an industry are facing?
Well, for me, myself, it's hiring talent. For you y'all, it's going to be setting your marketing plans and learning to market. New agents, y'all have every opportunity when you come in this business. You're not going to make a first paycheck right away, okay? But you have every opportunity to learn, be a sponge. I mean, read. Where's one of those red books? Read and know what to do. Read and know. And if you follow that and you get that done, you won't have that many challenges. I can promise you. If you go back to Gary Keller's rules of thumbs and listen to what Gary Keller gives us, he's telling us what the market's going to do. He is telling us. I mean, flat out, and over 16 years of listening to him, or 13 years, he has not led us wrong.
It's true.
It's just we as agents need to listen. And don't think, if you're a new agent, as long as you figure out why you do this business, And if you don't know why you do this business, you need to go back and you need to find out why you want to do the business. What makes you do it? What makes you get up in the morning? You know, I don't, and I'm not saying this realistically, I don't have to do the business. I want to do the business. Retire. Have nothing to do. How many people do it because they like to help people? I hope y'all do. Because if you help people, I promise the pay will come to you. Somehow, some form. Don't make the money your one thing. Everybody needs to make money. We're not going to sit here and say we don't. But if you make the one thing your success through people, which is exactly what it was, the money and the business will come to you. Just do what Gary Keller says. I mean, I've not always done it, and as for it, I paid the price. It just seems like I shuffle like a little dog on this floor, you know, going.
I like what you said because it reminds me of a comment that Mo Anderson made, and you know, Mo said, you know, what's your mission in life? What were you put here to do? We work to fund that mission, and that so lines up with what you were just saying, Donna.
And put something on your computer. I mean, put something on that. But if you do not go back to God first, family, and then work, which is Gary Keller's rule of thumb, and know what your life makes. And y'all pull up, YouTube this song, pull this song up. And if you've probably heard it if you've ever listened to Gary Keller, but Pam Rose sings a song called My Life. And I promise you, it'll make you sing, it'll make you cry. But listen to it, listen to the words it says, because the only one that can control your life and what you do is you. And take those brochures. Nobody's going to lead you. How many people's new? Okay, nobody's going to lead you by the hand. They're going to give you every tool that's capable. Just listen to what they give you and take it and run it, because I promise you, you'll be successful.
Well, that kind of leads me into my next question. If you were a new agent or you wanted to relaunch your business, what's the best advice that you have?
Stumped me. I think probably back to what I said a while ago, focus on your why, embrace the vision, and follow the models. It's that simple. It's that simple. Even if you've been existing and you need to go back, because we're doing it. We're sometimes you got to step back 2 steps to go forward 10. And that's what we're doing. It's taken me a while, but I have the best support team right now. If I can find the buyer's agent to support that, we can go forward. And just take 2 steps back if you're existing and look at yourself.
I think you've probably answered this one already, but if someone is thinking about developing a team or growing a team, do you have any advice for them?
Hire talent.
Hire talent, I already said that, hire talent.
And fire ones that don't work for you. Don't let them bring you down, okay? You are the one building the team, and they have to adhere to your mission. And you have to figure out what your team mission is. And you can't do that by yourself. If you've got any team members, we pulled everybody back in. We lowered the office windows. We took 2 hours, and we took the mission statement, the culture. I taught the culture and mission, and Stacy took our team and took it from there. And then we figured out, by spelling out the story team, what our roles were. And now, I mean, I have never had a better support team like this working, so.
And it took time to
Oh.
lay the groundwork. It took time to lay the groundwork and find you've had the right people for a long time.
But I was trying to work with part-time because Amber had 4 kids, which Amber's still part of our team, part of it. And Kelly had 4 kids, but they're all different locations working. That sometimes doesn't work well, you know. And you need to hire. Don't wait long enough to hire your first assistant. I mean, don't. You're doing $5 a job. There's also a thing called Fiverr. I don't know if anybody's ever had it. But, I mean, there's things that people can do to help you, which is minimal cost for you to do. You know, Jennifer is very good at taking time with her family. She has children. Donna wasn't so good at that. I mean, Donna probably, you know, if somebody calls at midnight, I would answer it.
I've just
Take it
started
on
doing
back,
that.
huh?
Yeah, right, yeah, just started doing it.
I've just got that taken care of in the last couple of years with 2. It's hard.
Yeah, but they got, you know, clients, if they want you and they use you, they'll respect you, and they'll be back. I mean, sometimes no is a big word, but you have to learn that no is not. I mean, I turned down a 600,000 listing, but, you know, Dell and I went because, I mean, I couldn't hit a reload company's time frame, and because Dell and I needed time together. I mean, have a husband in the same business as you is sometimes hard. Because as soon as you sit down and have time with it, his phone's gonna ring. And you're like, bye. You know, and, you know, it's really important that you spend some personal time, exercise time, mental time for yourself too. In my days, Ruth's gonna be glad to know this, they're starting earlier. You know, I am actually, you know, I'm not a morning person, but I may be up at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, and I am switching those roles and it's hard, but I'm stressing to get to bed and trying to get myself to sleep, but I am trying because I do feel like that morning time is a really good time to lead generate.
Any questions that you have for Donna?
I have one. I wanted to know, at one point in our lives, we're always putting a team together or working with the issues and doing the listings, and when somebody doesn't show up, you gotta do the buyers, and you gotta do the technology. At what point did you decide that I maybe need somebody to manage me? I mean, and do all that stuff and tell me what I'm doing wrong?
About a year ago.
About a year ago, so this still holds.
About a year ago. And well, in 2006, right after Emily was killed, and I was chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, and I was in everything, and I mean, I've done the Board of Realtors, I've done everything, I've been on United Way, I've been on Boys and Girls Club, I've been on all that, and I said, okay, no. I almost hired the girl I hired this last time, and I wanted to, but she worked for the Chamber at that time. She is a very good manager, and my health started going down. About, was it 2-3 years ago? I think my jaw collapsed. I mean, I've got still issues with it. I don't sleep at night. But I looked and Dell said, you need Stacy. And I said, and when Amber decided to, I mean, because she's got 4 kids in private school. I mean, to go to work for that school, I mean, it was almost like tears. You know, I was at FSO with Diane, and I got put in the hospital from dehydration. I almost died in April, and I almost did not come home. I mean, y'all, it was that severe. It was still, but I was so severely that they kept me in the Austin hospital for 5 days. So, needless to say, we came home. Amber told me she had already known, but she knew that I was sort of it was going to be hard on her. And I looked at her and I said, you know, I think I need Stacy. And she goes, I think you do too. And that's what I did, but don't get to the point I was to do that. It's not worth it. Because she looked at me, and Stacy's known me for many years. She looked at me and she said, you're not supposed to outlive Dale. And I know. If God had it right, I mean it not. But I almost didn't.
Anybody want the job?
What are they paying?
Yeah, right.
The rest of us want to live a little bit longer.
Any other questions for Donna?
And Catherine has a strong personality too, and I do too, and we've done the business for so long that it's hard to make those changes. But Dale cannot believe what I do. I just sit there and go, okay, okay, you know. And I mean, she shuts my door. If Gigi tries to walk in, she goes and grabs her and she goes, you just go sit down and wait for, you know, and you're gonna get out of here, you're gonna go do something, you're gonna scream your husband. If I say something to Dale, like, Dale, that's not right, you know, and she sits there and comes behind me and she says, Dale, she means you're one hot man. You're one good-looking man. You know, even the friction we have, she's like, she means this.
Yeah.
She's saying this, but she means this. So it's a good, just find somebody, that's hard sometimes, but
So you're really saying, find somebody that can, that understands your vision, that understands your team, that understands where you want to go, to have your back 110%, and allows you to do what you really are best at and do, and you don't have to deal with all this other stuff. This other person's taking care of all that stuff, and that's talent. And finding talent can be, you know.
I mean, she's even getting.
You always had talent.
She's
Stacy was
even-
there.
Stacy was there,
Just
and I
needed
knew
to-
Stacy was there. But Stacy's career was a little bit different level then too. But she even takes care of training most of my team, period. I mean, I'm putting on a golf tournament right now, y'all, December 17th. So if you know anybody in Walker County, but we're doing it for the police, the fire department, and the sheriff's department. And what our tournament will do is all the proceeds that we get are gonna buy bulletproof vests for them that our budgets don't allow for the city and county. And sadly, we need it, but those guys, we're getting protests and everything. So we're just trying to help out as a community appreciation to those guys too. And I mean, yesterday I was like, I can't work on this, I don't have time. And the next thing I knew, her and Emily had picked up the phone and they started working on it. I came back in there and she goes, we're making these calls, and I was like, you know, it wasn't even something that was, but they saw that I was getting stressed over trying to get the work done and all that. And that's what a team's called. I mean, they saw where I was really down. So,
Any other questions? No? All right, Donna, well, thank you so much. That was great. Okay, a couple of announcements. So tomorrow at, I believe it's 1:30? 1:30 tomorrow, there's a MCE class. You get 3 hours of MCE. HAR is coming in to do an MLS Platinum class. And there's some changes coming. I mean, going to Platinum was a change, but there's some additional changes coming, and they're going to be able to talk about that. So I strongly recommend that you attend the class tomorrow from 1:30 to 4:30, and it is 3 hours of CE. Is there any special instructions on the CE part?
You have to be present from the start to the finish, or else you don't get the card hours, and you have to bring a photo ID.
You bring your own computer?
That wasn't specified, but probably, I would,
a lot of people had their own computer when I.
you would probably want to walk through what we're going
Probably
to
not.
It's recommended if you can bring your computer.
And it's here.
That's what I
It's
do.
here. Right here. It's gonna be right here. We have, on Thursday is the Tree Pack fundraiser. So we have a team who is going to be competing, but if you would like to come and cheer our team on or participate in Tree Pack, guys, Tree Pack does so much for us. Recently I was at the HAR brunch and Mario Arriaga, who's our vice chairman, was speaking, and I think he said it saves us like $4,000 every year as real towards what Tree Pack does for us. There are so many things in the legislature that come up before the legislature that we, because of Tree Pack endorsements, we are able to fix things. I mean, they've been trying to tax us for years and do transfer taxes, on all kinds of things. And so Tree Pack really is important, and this is a fun way to make your yearly contribution to Tree Pack and have some fun. It's $25 and even includes lunch and a couple of drink tickets. So if you want Grand Central Park, it starts at 11 o'clock, I believe it is, on Thursday, and goes until 3:30 or something like that. So come on out and have some fun and just meet other fellow realtors and have some fun.